Now, we have here, some of you know him well, some of them not so well, Malcolm Hill. Now, 4 years ago, he'll tell you a little more about this, came out here, went to a couple of shows, thought, yeah, maybe we could do something with Purple Line. Never went back. Now he has an Australian wife, and they have a house in Melbourne and a dog, and I'm pretty sure just a minute ago I heard him saying something like, on your mate. So,
not quite.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Thank you very much, Greg. Well, thank you very much for coming down to our showroom here. We've been open about a year now here, and it's great to have you all show around a little bit about what we do here and the Opus camper trailer product and a few other bits and pieces. So thanks for your time. It's a great honour and pleasure to have the CEO of CIA Vic here. So Rob, thank you very much for coming down yourself, and it's really good to meet you. And also for you to officially open our assembly plant, which is over the road, which you'll see soon, which is run by Jason, who's at the back there, who's just turned up. So today we were going to be launching a few new caravan mover products that we've been working on for quite a while. It's one of our major sort of products is our remote control caravan mover, and we've been sort of tweaking a European product like a number of other brands for quite a few years. However, we've been working over the last 6 months on making something specific for the Australian market, and our two new Ego plug-and-play axle-mounted caravan movers are specific for that. For the JTEC suspension that Jayco have instigated over the last couple of years, and also another one to fit to the fixed beam axle, like Alco seem to be the industry leader on that. So those caravan movers on the axle, we'll talk more about the design of those, I suppose, as we go on. If you're interested, then let me know. But specifically designed for Australia, we were hoping to have a working model there, which I believe is being picked up from the airport at the moment. So hopefully it'll be here a bit later. We can show you. It's also Greg made me wear this our 4th birthday, so not a real biggie, but my wife made a cake, so that's a bonus. And now, just like to introduce Jonathan, who founded Purple Line back in 2002 in the UK, and continues to lead its operations around the world.
Hi guys, thanks for coming. Just to give you a brief history of Purple Line caravan movers. In 2002, the company first started developing caravan movers for the UK market. This was a manually driven jockey wheel device attached to the drawbar of the van, and it really had a good uptake. However, the product had its limitations, traction being the main limitation, the drawbar only having 10% of the weight of the caravan meant that you could only really manoeuvre a caravan on hard level surfaces. When you got to undulations, rougher terrain, it was more difficult for this device to work. But we'd proven that there was a big uptake for a mechanical device which gave advantage for manoeuvring heavy caravans into tight positions. So we're a design-based company, and we set our minds to developing a chassis-mounted system which could drive the caravan wheels itself. So 90% of the caravan's weight could be driven. This generated a lot more traction and a lot more grip. We have continually improved this product and refined it further, and in 2009 we refined the engineering of the product a lot more. We had an integrated alloy custom-built gearbox which increased efficiency and performance of the product, which also lent itself to be able to manoeuvre bigger, larger weights, which definitely transferred to us being able to open up an operation in Australia where caravans are a lot heavier than back home for me in the UK. Australian vans up to 3.5 tons. There was still limitations with our units, so we needed to refine them further. And recently, with the suspension changes, J-Tech suspension on Jayco vans, which is a big proportion of the market over here, I'm told, we started to develop an axle-mounted system rather than a chassis-mounted system. So initially drawbar mounted, then chassis mounted, and now we've moved on to axle-mounted system. This has many significant advantages with our system. It's a plug-and-play system, so you can detach the motors, increase the ground clearance, reduce the laden weight of your caravan, and transfer this same system to other trailers that you may own at home, for boat trailers which may not have a power source. So all of this is integrated into our Ego plug-and-play system, and we've still got better things to come, which I'd like Malcolm to lead on to now. Cheers, guys.
Okay, so last year, a Jayco owner in Queensland came to us and said he wanted a caravan mover for his caravan. It was a new Jayco caravan that had the J-Tech suspension on. He'd been told by the dealership that he couldn't have a caravan mover on there. That was a problem for this customer, because he couldn't park his caravan in his driveway. He had no way of getting it in there. It was too heavy, and there was not enough space for his car to push this caravan into his spot. So he thought, damn it, I can't get the caravan that I want, this isn't good. So he rang us up and said, have you got a caravan mover that'll work for us? We'd been told that our systems and no chassis mounted systems were suitable for this type of caravan. So rather than saying no, we said, let's have a chat and let's see what we can come up with. So moving on from there, over the next 8 months, we put together, we got our engineers on it, we drew up the suspension system and developed a set of brackets that would interface with the suspension system without doing any damage to it whatsoever, easy to fit, and then we could mount our caravan mover system straight onto that. So that's how we came up with the Ego plug and play, specifically designed for that, the first axle mounting system. Leading on from that, we thought, okay, so we've ticked that box, we've got a system that works there, but over 50% of the market has the fixed beam axle, sort of thing that you'll see on the Opus camper here, either 45 by 45 mil or a 50 by 50 mil axle, mounted on a set of leaf springs. So we thought, well, if we can mount it onto the independent suspension, we should be able to mount it onto the axle as well. So we had a look at that, and we have also come up with a system that will mount to that. Some of the advantages of mounting to the axle rather than the chassis are that obviously the wheels move independently to the chassis, that's what the suspension's for. So by being attached to the axle, the mover will move with the wheels, never losing traction with the wheels as it manoeuvres around. Some of the other significant advantages that Jonathan's talked about this product are that ground clearance is not hindered. The lowest point is the height of the axle. And also the quick release function. So if you only want to use it for parking your van at home, like this gentleman did up in Queensland, he can just pull the pin, take it off, leave it away in his garage, so he's not carrying around extra weight when he's travelling the country. So that's what we've done. Now I believe we're going to move on under Greg's guidance around to the Opus camper assembly plant. So Opus is another of our products that we've talked about a little bit, and what was that? Okay, but before that, Rob is going to tell us a few things too.
Well, thank you, Malcolm, and Jonathan. Welcome. He's here somewhere. Not quite sure whether I'm opening it here or opening over there, but I'll just plough on regardless, as is my way. So Jonathan Harrison, founder, Purple Line, Malcolm Hill, and your team Thank you very much, and welcome to Australia.
Thanks.
Great to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, thank you for the invitation to open these new facilities for Purple Line. The caravan and camping industry in Victoria and Australia continues to grow from strength to strength, and this is reflected in the Victorian key industry statistics. Many in the room actually know these statistics off by heart, probably better than I do because we report it consistently, but it's worthwhile just reflecting on some of the key numbers in particular in relation to the new facility that Purple Line are opening up today. 85% of all RV products are manufactured here in Victoria. 70% of all manufacturers reside in Victoria, and the industry is worth $1.4 billion per annum. And that number continues to grow year on year. The other figures that really always amaze me is we've got 131,000 caravans and RV products are registered here in Victoria, which makes us the largest fleet in Australia. And of course, at the bottom line for the economy, $453 million in salaries directly go into the Victorian economy from our industry, and they're in broad brush terms. And that's just and just recently, in the last few days, we see that the production numbers released by the Caravan Industry Association of Australia shows that the December numbers have increased by 4.5% over the previous December numbers. I'm not sure what that reflects nationally, but it's numbers that any manufacturing sector in Australia would be very, very pleased about. Of course, numbers only demonstrate so much. Our industry provides inspiration, freedom and creation of dreams for thousands and thousands of Australians. And I suspect that, just to put that into a little bit of perspective, and it was released at the national conference just a week or so ago, where we heard that 85% of all Australians have gone caravanning and camping at least once in their lifetime. 7 million Australians have had caravanning or camping experience in the past 2 years, 7 million in the past 2 years. Expenditure by caravan and camping consumers is $7 billion per annum. And of course, the economic value of the industry amounts to $17.44 billion annually. I'm often surprised and laugh a little bit when people tell me that this industry is a cottage industry. Well, those numbers are pretty impressive for a cottage industry that's supposed to be working out of backyards. It's not. It's a sophisticated, maturing market that is growing. And of course, in the year ending 31 January 2013, caravans experienced the largest growth of any vehicle type in Australia. Let me just repeat that again, of any vehicle type. So there's vehicles, there's trucks, there's bikes, you name it. We are the greatest. We are the greatest in growth numbers, which is pretty impressive, I think, at least. So it's into this environment, Purple Line Australia now open their new facility. The industry is growing and expanding at an impressive rate. I'm often asked by people, can it be sustained? Well, the answer is yes, if we keep working hard and we keep being focused on what the consumer wants, and companies like Purple Line coming into the market who are clearly going to address a section of the consumers in Australia. This industry is, as an impressive growth. Of course, we cannot take this growth for granted. We as an industry must continue to innovate and provide quality products for Australian consumers. The Association's Industry Blueprint, which was released in 2012, was called the Victorian Caravan Industry Blueprint, is still being implemented today, but it places great emphasis on innovation, productivity and skills development. Of course, over the past 4 years, the Association, the Caravan Industry Association Victoria, has increased services to members that will assist them to grow and prosper. And of course, Purple Line now, as a member of the association, will benefit from that. Our latest service offering is technical assistance and advice. With the appointment of Daniel Solberg, who's joined me today, Daniel's over the back there, I am sure Purple Line will benefit from having contact with the technical expertise of Daniel and then assisting you in your product development. All of these services are now part of programs being implemented by the association to benefit our members of the greater industry. Yes, indeed, it is an exciting time to be part of our industry. When the manufacturing industry in Victoria is facing many significant challenges, the caravan and RV industry continue to expand against the odds. In recent weeks, and as recently as last Thursday, we've met with the Victorian Minister for Industry, the Victorian Minister for Transport, and the Tourism Minister, their senior advisors, along with the Chief Executive of Vic Roads, talking once again about the issues and barriers and challenges of Vic Roads registering product which is non-compliant. Can I just say those discussions were more than fruitful. In the next month there are going to be some major announcements made on behalf of the industry which the Victorian Government is supporting. We are completely on their radar. 4 years ago, virtually no Victorian minister knew who we were. 4 years later, we're now getting invitations from Victorian ministers to come and talk about our industry, which is great. Of course, that also throws up some great challenges. Those challenges are going to be the professionalism of our industry and our industry taking, if you like, the next step, which I'm sure we will. We've told each minister we are quite simply a good news story. In an environment in the Victorian economy where car makers are going out of business, we are expanding at a rate that they cannot believe. I live my life both personally and professionally by a simple saying: fortune favours the brave. To Jonathan and Malcolm and your team, I congratulate you on having the courage and foresight to establish the facility here in Braeside and in Victoria and invest in the industry, which will reap benefits for you. I'm certain that those rewards will come sooner rather than later. I understand from your enthusiastic communications manager and PR manager and all the other things, your products are what is needed in the industry. They're wanted by consumers, and I'm certain that you will reap your rewards. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to wish Purple Line a happy 4th birthday. By no coincidence, it's 4 years of me being in the job as well, so I don't know if we can draw what you like about that. And to declare the Opus Campus Assembly Plant officially open. Thank you very much. Well, it gives me great pleasure to officially open these new facilities for Purple Line. Congratulations.